What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. This is going to kind of be a bit of a vlog, kind of. I guess I don't really know what you would call this video. This is kind of like an update video. I have started a mini cut as of recent, which is something that is worth noting. So what I really want to do in today's video is kind of talk about how I'm going about transitioning from the off season into this mini cut, some of the changes that I've made with my training, nutrition, and supplementation and everything, and just kind of give you guys an insight as to what's going on in my head as I make that transition. I think that the best way that I can demonstrate this to you guys is to just take you into the computer and we'll be able to take a look at the X's and O's a little bit closer. All right, what's going on, guys? This is something a little different, at least for the YouTube channel. If you are a client of mine, then this may be a familiar sight for you, me on your computer screen, looking at a Google Sheet here. What we're going to be doing today is talking about Operation Mini Cut. I've decided to start a mini cut as of late, and just kind of wanted to use this as an opportunity to kind of talk about how the off season has kind of gone leading up until this point, some of the changes that I'm going to be making leading into the mini cut, and then also talking about some of my training and how training is going, and then some of the concerns that I'm having with training at the moment, because obviously not everything is all sunshine and rainbows as always. Getting into the mini cut, I'm sure that as I've been talking here, there will be an overlay somewhere over here on the screen of what my current physique is looking like. My physique update that I'm taking here was taken today on March 14th. And so I would have been 209.6 pounds this morning. We'll get into some of these numbers in a second here, but sitting around 210 here at the moment. My peak off-season body weight was 212.4. So at this point, I'm down a couple of pounds from the peak weight, but it's only been a couple of days on the mini cut. It hasn't really been long enough yet for me to feel good about the way that things have been going. We're just kind of getting familiarized with the process and everything. Physique is obviously not super lean. I wouldn't say that I'm fat either. I've definitely been fatter than this, but I also don't want to get any fatter than this going forward. So this is a really good time for me to scale back on the food a little bit and kind of clear up some body weight, especially when we kind of take a look at the bigger picture here. So I'm going to kind of minimize myself and we're going to kind of get into some of this information here. So today is the first day of the mini cut, or excuse me, Wednesday was the first day of the mini cut. By this point, I'm a couple of days into it. As I had mentioned, my peak body weight this off season was 212.4. As I kind of scroll through the data log and everything here, you'll periodically see these body weights highlighted in red, and these are the high body weights that I had hit. So at the time that I hit 211.4 on January 27th, that was the highest body weight that I had hit at that point. And then when I exceeded it on February 13th at 211.8, I color coded it, so on and so forth. But 212.4 was the peak weight that we hit. My goal for this mini cut is to get to somewhere around 200 pounds. And then once I get to 200 pounds, we will add food back in and get back up into a surplus. Speaking of food, my current nutrition goals, I'm aiming for 3,750 calories on my training days and 3,500 on my rest days, and then 300 grams of protein on both of those days here. At peak off season, I was doing 4,500 on training days and 4,250 on the rest days. So that's about a 750 calorie decrease to the base diet that I was on. And obviously that has been enough to kind of get me moving downwards so far. So I'm going to ride that out for as long as I can. In terms of my steps and everything, I'm averaging somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 steps per day. Last week was actually a really busy week, and I did not hit my step goal last week, but you'll kind of see as I'm scrolling through here that I'm somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 steps most days. And then another thing that is worth mentioning is last Monday, March 3rd, is when I ended my cruise. Previously, I had been cruising since December 23rd. This was when I decided to drop my peak testosterone dosage from 500 milligrams to 125 milligrams right around the holiday time. And I was running 125 mgs of test for about 9 weeks. If you kind of do the math, I was running 125 tests up until March 3rd. And then here, on March 3rd is when we decided to bump up to 250. I'm probably going to work this up a little bit, kind of get through the mini cut here. And then once we finish up the mini cut, I'll probably bump that up to like 375 or something like that when we add food back in. But I'm definitely capable of maintaining my muscle and maintaining and improving my gym performance on 250 tests. So there's no major inclination to kind of get back to high doses at the moment. Honestly, this cruise for me has been very productive. I'll kind of use this as an opportunity to move over here into the training log. This is where you guys can kind of start to see a bigger picture of how my training has gone on a week to week basis. I'll kind of make this a little smaller here, but I have my training sessions in here. I've got full body A, full body B, full body C, and full body D. So, if you guys wanted to pause the video and kind of take a look at how training has gone over the past couple of weeks, you can do that. But what you will notice is that every time I have a red color coding in here, that would be when I would have a regression or something that is going backwards or something that I need to be concerned about. But you'll see there isn't really tons of red, and a lot of the instances where I am having a lot of red, I have replaced a lot of those exercises. So we'll kind of go ahead and get into that here. So I've introduced some exercises that are new into my program lately. On the full body B day, I have replaced the hammer pull down that I was doing in here, the single arm hammer strength pull down. I've replaced that with the hammer strength pull over. I was kind of getting to a point on the hammer pull down where it wasn't really progressing anymore. And I had been running that movement for a very, very long time. Let's see if I can pinpoint the first time that I brought that exercise in. That would have been all the way back in week 1. I've been doing that exercise for a very long time. And when I first started doing it, I was doing 115 pounds for 5 reps. And the highest weight that I got it up to before I ended that off was 148 pounds for about 4 or 5 reps. So I put almost 35 pounds on that lift in 40 weeks, and it just kind of got to the point where it wasn't progressing anymore. So I decided to add in the pullover, and the pullover has been exceptional. The first week that I did it, I didn't really get much of a lat pump or a lat contraction on it. And then this most recent rotation, I adjusted the seat upwards. I put my feet in a slightly different position than where I had them in the previous week. And I lowered the weight a little bit, and the pump that I got in my lats was honestly just stupid. It was absolutely crazy. So I'm really excited to do this movement. At this point, again, I've only done it 2 times, but that most recent rotation was so good, man. Like when I was here in the stretch, I literally felt like my lats were going to get ripped off my body. It was just the craziest pump that I've had in my lats in a long time. Very, very similar to the hammer pullover. I have introduced a new movement on the full body C day, and that is the Arsenal seal row. I just did that for the first time yesterday. And I had been running a chest supported T-bar row up until this point. And again, let's see how long I had that movement in. I had that movement in for a long time. When I first started doing it, I was doing 152 and a half pounds, and I hit that for 6 reps. And then the peak weight that I hit that before I moved it was 205 pounds. So I put almost 50 pounds on that lift in 40 weeks. So just kind of got to the point. You can see all these instances of red here. I had been stuck at 205 for like 4 reps or so for 3 weeks. And then on the 4th week, I actually lost half a rep. So it was just time for me to get something else in there. And I added in the Arsenal seal row, which has also gone exceptional. I did that for the first time yesterday, and I have never felt a pump in my upper back like how I felt on that particular exercise. I literally felt my traps all the way up to my neck from the time when that set was over. I'll have a video overlaying as I'm talking here, but you'll kind of see at the end of the set that I literally get off the machine and I'm like this. I'm like, oh my God, because my traps all the way up to my neck were absolutely fried. So those are 2 new exercises that I've been adding in lately and have really been enjoying those. There is one other exercise that I am considering changing, and that's on my full body A day, and that would be the hammer high row. This is a movement that I have had in for a very long time as well. You guys are kind of noticing a theme. I've had a lot of these exercises in for a very long time. The first time when I introduced the hammer high row, I was doing 340 pounds for 8 reps. And at the moment, I am doing 435 for 5 reps. So I've almost put 100 pounds on that lift in 40 weeks. But I am kind of getting into a point where that has stalled out. You'll see that I've been doing 435 for 4 or 5 reps for the last 4 rotations. I've kind of been playing around with it a little bit and trying to use a new seat height and everything, and taking a little bit of a different grip. So I am kind of taking that into consideration. But I am noticing that I'm really just not getting a super strong contraction on it anymore. And I am considering changing that out. We have an Arsenal chest supported row that I could replace this with. And that would be a really good substitute of an exercise to use. But I do want to at least give this another try or 2 before I make that decision to swap that out. But that's really the only other exercise that I'm considering changing. Now, as far as issues, I am having some issues on my quad tendon, particularly my right quad tendon is really bothering me right now. And it's especially noticeable when I do leg extensions. Fortunately, it's not really bothering me on any of my compound lifts, like on the A day. It doesn't bother me on the squat press. It doesn't bother me on the pendulum squat on the B day. It doesn't bother me on the hammer leg press on the C day. And it doesn't bother me on the hack squat on the D day. But most of the days that I'm doing the leg extension, I'm getting some pain in the quad tendon there. And I think the reason for that is because I've been doing almost all of my leg extension work up until recently in like the 5 to 8 rep range. And I think that that's just kind of catching up to me. Recently, you'll notice with this was yesterday's session that I went a little bit lighter on the leg extensions. I dropped, this is the single leg extension, but I dropped from 150 pounds to 110 pounds. And overall, that went pretty good. So what's more than likely going to be happening is I'm going to be reducing the rep ranges, or I guess increasing the rep ranges and reducing the weight of the leg extensions. Going forward. Like I said earlier, I've kind of been doing mostly 5 to 8 rep range work the whole time, and I kind of just want to work in like the 8 to 12 or even the 12 to 15 because I'm just not really feeling super confident being very assertive in the leg extension right now. I'm actually scared that when I go to lock out the leg extension rep that I'm going to pop something in my quad. So I just feel a little bit more confident in my ability to train harder with a lighter rep range on the leg extensions. And so really, that's kind of the main thing that I'm kind of worried about at the moment is how this right quad is going to hold up. But otherwise, everything is going really good in the training. There's been a couple of new exercises that have been introduced, and I'm really, really enjoying those and just kind of addressing some of the concerns with the quad tendon. But overall, training has gone really good. At this point, I'm only 2 weeks into increasing my testosterone dosage to 250 milligrams. So that hasn't even hit its peak dosage yet. So obviously we're, kind of putting 2 and 2 together and expecting that as the supplements increase, training will continue to go good. And even though I am eating less food, it's only 750 calories, which is really not that big of a deal. I'm still eating tons and tons of food to be able to fuel good sessions and help recover from good training sessions. So it is very possible with the combination of the decrease in calories, but the increase in supplementation and the increase in training performance that I may actually recomp a little bit during this phase, which would obviously be ideal. This mini cut is kind of more or less just a stepping stone. I've been in a surplus since November of 2023. So we're kind of going on like 15 or 16 months straight of being in a surplus. I kind of just want a mini cut for like 4 to 6 weeks, get my body weight down to around 200 pounds. And then once I hit that weight and assuming that things look good enough there for me to go back up, I'll be increasing food and then increasing supplements from there and looking to make another big off-season push, which will hopefully take me to the end of the year, hopefully take me sometime to around December of 2025. And then depending on what the physique is looking like at the end of the year, we look at the drawing board and see if there are any shows that we can do in 2026. So hope that you guys enjoyed this video and hope that me kind of illustrating some of the things that are going on in my head here and maybe giving you guys a little bit of a visual with some of the things that I track and how I go about tracking the off season is something that you guys enjoy. As always, if you guys have any questions or anything, please leave them as a comment in the video. If you're interested in coaching or any of the services that I offer, then you guys can go ahead and check those out in the description as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel by now, you should. What are you doing here if you haven't subbed? And as always, guys, stay tuned for the next video and take care of yourselves. We'll talk soon, guys. Have a good one.